Exhausted from a grueling duel with the Wasp Queen, we find our Shinobi warrior kicking back and relaxing in a beautiful grotto. But peace is a rare commodity these days, and our warrior finds himself surrounded, bloodlust palpably high.
Ugh. Do you really want to do this? Have it your way.
With lightning speed, the Shinobi dashes to the enemy, its bulking body loudly crashing to the ground. In a provoked rage, the others rush our young warrior. The final blow struck. The Shinobi gazes down at his handiwork. Not a single enemy remains. With silent resolve, the Shinobi makes his way to a nearby perch, looking out knowing that there's no rest for this weary assassin. What is up, my friends? I'm that one guy for never. Welcome to Cabbage Core. It's been a long hiatus. I've missed a lot. The Wasp Queen hired more lackeys, the broodmother apparently was hiding her angrier infected grandmother, and somehow, thanks to Toast, we've broken the space-time continuum, unleashing nightmarish infused bugs. Do I have that right? I've spent a lot of time sinking my teeth into New Game Plus. There's parts of it I like, and there's parts of it I really don't like. The challenge and general replayability, I personally think that's okay. Some games go the route of making you OP. Other games give you a challenge mode in New Game Plus. That's up to the devs. It does definitely have its fun moments, but it's an unbalanced mess. They've unfortunately made it so punishing that flawless perfect blocking is one of the only ways to play. That said, I want to welcome you to my New Game Plus build series. I've been working hard on developing some builds to help you guys dominate, but also enjoy the New Game Plus content. So let's take a look at my first build. The Shinobi Assassin is an attack speed focused build. With each combo, you get faster and faster and faster to the point where there's practically no gap between strikes. We combine this absurd speed with critical hit perks to stun lock the enemy and maximize our damage potential. While this is a rather squishy build, unfortunately most builds are going to be. Unless you focus entirely on defense, tier 3 infused bugs and bosses are gonna one or two shot you without fail. Perfect blocking is a must here. To help offset our squishiness, we do have a trick up our sleeves. We employ the much underutilized Shinobi Sneeze. This can be used both defensively to escape from an overwhelming situation, and offensively to position ourselves safely to execute our first couple combos, building up our attack speed. Don't sweat the damage debuff. This only lasts 5 seconds. Our first couple combos aren't there to do much damage. They're simply needed to build up our attack speed. Just keep in mind, Shinobi Sneezes do not work in the boss arenas. For the build, we need to maximize attack speed in our critical hits. To accomplish this, we need a very specific loadout. We start things off with a Science Cone or Globasa necklace that has Samurai and Finale Fury. Both of these modifiers by themselves are extremely good, but combined you become an unstoppable DPS monster. When wielding katanas, Samurai causes your attack speed to increase with each 3-hit combo, up to 5 stacks until you take damage. Finale Fury increases your attack speed by 20% after every 3-hit combo. Once you gain some stacks, your attacks become blindingly fast, putting even the Widow Dagger to shame. That third slot doesn't need to be anything specific, but if you're looking for a god roll, I'd highly recommend Defense Resist, boosting your damage resist by a staggering 50%. It's much appreciated on this squishy build. To make best use of those modifiers, we need the perfect weapon. I recommend the Tingle Tongue, which surprisingly is classified as a katana. The one major downside to swords is their lack of stun, which is why the Tingle Tongue is the perfect choice. Thanks to its perk Finale Aftershock, on every 3rd hit it applies a flat 35 sour damage in a small AoE, helping you take down those pesky adds. But more importantly, it dishes out 25 stun. This stun is a game changer. Stuns are very powerful in New Game Plus, shutting down your enemy, allowing you to burst them down without mercy. To top it off, Sour is one of the best elements as nearly nothing resists it. This means you can use this weapon effectively in any situation. It's worth noting the Sour Katanga is a good second place option for those enemies that use frequent multi-attacks like wolf spiders, black widows, and even the game's bosses. Its perk Finale Parry increases your parry window after a 3-hit combo, as well as your damage output after a perfect block. The choice is yours. Moving on to armor, we use the Assassin set, upgraded sleek. The Assassin set takes our extreme DPS to the next level with 3 amazing perks. Cutman, giving our critical hits a 50% chance to inflict the bleed effect, dealing 20 damage a second for 10 seconds. Crit Stun, giving our critical hits a 30% chance to deal 25 stun, further enhancing our stun potential on an otherwise stunless weapon. And the set bonus, Critical Chain. When we perform a critical hit, this perk increases the chance of performing another critical hit by 2.5% for 10 seconds. 2.5% might not sound like much now, but just wait till you see how ridiculously high we're gonna boost this. For mutations, we start off with one of the best in New Game Plus, Blade Master. This causes our sword attacks to lower an enemy's damage by 30%, helping us stay alive when we make some minor mistakes. Not to mention the Mastery perk, which reduces our exhaustion timer by a whopping 90%, ensuring we're attacking almost non-stop during our openings. Next up is Coup de Grace and Trapper Peeper, greatly enhancing our critical hits. Coup de Grace increases our critical hit chance by 5%, while Trapper Peeper increases our critical hit damage by another 60%. The last two are flex slots you can use as you see fit. In general, Spicy Safety for survivability is an excellent choice as we are squishy. Other top picks might be Mithridatism, Shocking Dismissal, or Fresh Defense, depending on what you're up against. We don't stop there though. Make sure you're stocked up on Spider Slider, Sticky Boss Sauce, Sticky Liquid Rage, Beefy Human Food, and even some Perfect Toast whenever possible. Spider Slider and Sticky Boss Sauce increases our critical hit chance by 5% each. We start with a base 1%, plus Coup de Grace's 5%, plus 5% from Spider Slider, plus 5% from Boss Sauce, and in an ideal situation, another 5% from Perfect Toast. This doesn't even include the ramping critical hits from the Assassin armor set, which increases the chance of us getting a critical hit by 2.5% each time we get a crit that lasts for 10 seconds. So that means we should generally always have 16% crit chance when fighting infused bugs. And for boss fights, we'll have a base 21% with Perfect Toast, not to mention an extra 10% damage from our Sticky Liquid Rage. As for the Beefy Human Food Smoothies, these are for healing. They have the added bonus of increasing our defense by 10%, further helping us with survivability. So how does this build hold up in New Game Plus? Well, obviously pretty damn well, or I wouldn't have made this video. But I've come up with 5 rating metrics to put things in perspective to help you compare this build against my future New Game Plus builds. First, we have setup difficulty. This indicates the difficulty and time needed to put this build together. I think too many YouTubers gloss over this. I'm gonna give this one 7 out of 10 cabbages. The only hard thing to get is the trinket with both Samurai and Finale Fury. Some of the best effects like Samurai definitely have a lower chance of appearing than some of the others, so that is gonna increase the difficulty of setting up this build. That said, pretty much all New Game Plus builds are going to require either a specific trinket loadout and or a specific infused weapon loadout. With that in mind, I don't feel I'm asking too much. The armor, consumables, and mutations, you should easily have that before even starting New Game Plus. In fact, I urge you to not move into New Game Plus until you have a nice hefty supply of boss sauces. It's only going to get harder to farm them further down the rabbit hole. As for your weapon, this is also pretty easy. At New Game Plus 1, you already can get the Sour Katanga, my second place option. In New Game Plus 2, you get the Tingle Tongue. But even still, there's other katanas like the Kultana you can have before even going into New Game Plus, or other options like the Breast Slayer, which in fact does work with Samurai. Second, we have power. This indicates the general strength of this build and how quickly it can take down your enemies. I want to give this one 9 out of 10 cabbages. I wanted to start this build series off with a really strong one. Even though scoring crits is luck dependent, with our high critical hit chance and insane attack speed, the odds are greatly stacked in our favor. And thanks to the frequent critical hits, you can often stun lock enemies, a very powerful advantage. Third, I have ease of use, indicating the skill level required to use this build effectively. Again, I think this is another topic a lot of YouTubers like to gloss over. I won't lie to you, in the game's current New Game Plus iteration, all builds are going to have a pretty high skill level requirement. The reason for this is just the overwhelming damage the enemies can inflict on you. Unless you're playing on mild, most bosses and tier 3 infused bug attacks are going to 1 or 2 hit kill you. This forces you to either play with nearly flawless perfect blocks or focus entirely on defense, crippling your damage potential. I'd place this build at 7 out of 10 cabbages. We are squishy, there's no getting around that. You can survive one infused attack in most situations, but oftentimes the elemental infused attacks hit multiple times in quick succession, causing you to go from full health to dead in a split second. Perfect blocking is paramount to succeeding with this build. Outside of defense though, we don't have to think very much about attacking. If the enemy just finished an attack or a combo, go ham. Attack, 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 and attack. By the time you've gotten to your third combo, you'll likely be critting so often you can just keep going. Just make sure you do perfect block when the enemy attacks, otherwise your 5 stacks of samurai will reset. Fourth is flexibility. How flexible is this build in a wide variety of situations? Can it be used against all the bosses? Java-matic, 1v1, 1v-many, and the Black Widow? In that regard, this build is quite flexible. I'd say 7 out of 10 cabbages. Not only are we using one of the best New Game Plus mutations, Blade Master, but thanks to the flexibility of Samurai, we can use a katana of almost every element, fresh, spicy, and sour. And my personal favorite, the Tingle Tongue, is not only element neutral to just about everything in the game, it will decimate Black Widows. This build does have 2 weaknesses though. First is 1 versus many. We need to get in a few combos to maximize our attack speed, but we also have to take no damage while doing it or else Samurai resets. It's very difficult to flawlessly parry against multiple targets, so I highly recommend funneling enemies and kiting whenever possible. Our second weakness is damage over time effects. Poison, Venom, and Bleed are a middle finger to this build. With each tick of damage, it resets our Samurai stacks. That said, many attacks that apply these dots are able to be perfect blocked, like the Broodmother and Infected Broodmother. But the Mantis and Wasp Queen are a different story. The Mantis' Scream applies bleed, and this can't be parried. The Wasp Queen has several attacks that apply venom, and some of them can't be parried without a shield, which we don't use. There's not much we can do about it except to choose our windows for attack wisely. I said in the beginning I wanted to make builds that help you dominate but also enjoy New Game Plus. So my 5th and final metric is fun. I'm gonna give this one 7 out of 10 cabbages. It's a one-trick pony, but we're insanely good at that one trick. It feels really good watching your attacks get faster and faster until you hit a level you never thought was possible. Equally as fun is watching the boss's health meter chunk away with every passing second. So what'd you guys think? That was some pretty epic builds, right? Keep in mind my builds always have room for customization, so feel free to play around with it, mixing and matching until you're satisfied. What are some builds you guys play with? Have something awesome you'd like to share? Drop the builds in the comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for sticking around. See you all next time.